What's a story, amigos? This is Kino with some cool stories for today's story time.
Today, we'll hear about a duck who has to do all the work on a farm.
How goes the work?
Called the farmer. The duck answered,
Quack!
Join Raven-Simone for a story about a boy who hears a strange noise.
Mother, I hear a noise.
Then Jamie Farr reads about a carpenter who receives good news.
Will I be famous, too? No question about it, said the fortune teller. One shall become well known.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television.
My car is very special, and Teeny is the driver. He's really tiny. You see, that's why I call him Teeny. And he's driving. We're going to take a trip to the country, and we're going to read some stories. And also, we're going to visit Old MacDonald. Oh, Old MacDonald had an arm, E-I-E-I-O.
A farm.
What?
A farm.
Oh. Old MacDonald had an arm, E-I-E-I-O.
A farm, you know, a farm.
Oh, right, yeah. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his arm he had a freckle, E-I-E-I-O.
Oh.
With an armpit here and an elbow here. There a knuckle, here a freckle, everywhere a freckle, freckle. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
With a quack, quack here and a quack, quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack, quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-O.
Did you know I have a book about a duck who's a farmer?
No, ducks aren't farmers. I'm not falling for that one.
This duck has to do all the work on the farm by himself. You know why?
Why?
Well, you'll see when we read the book. Farmer Duck, written by Martin Waddell and illustrated by Helen Oxenbury.
A working duck, huh? I want to see this.
There once was a duck who had the bad luck to live with a lazy old farmer. The duck did the work. The farmer stayed all day in bed. The duck fetched the cow from the field.
How goes the work?
Called the farmer. The duck answered,
Quack!
The duck brought the sheep from the hill.
How goes the work?
Called the farmer. The duck answered,
Quack!
The duck put the hens in their house.
How goes the work?
Called the farmer. The duck answered,
Quack!
The farmer got fat through staying in bed, and the poor duck got fed up with working all day.
How goes the work? Quack! 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 How goes the work? Quack!
Soon, the poor duck grew sleepy and weepy and tired. The hens and the cow and the sheep got very upset. They loved the duck. So they held a meeting under the moon, and they made a plan for the morning. Moo, said the cow. Baa, said the sheep. Cluck, said the hens. And that was the plan. It was just before dawn, and the farmyard was still. Through the back door and into the house crept the cow and the sheep and the hens. They stole down the hall. They creaked up the stairs. They squeezed under the bed of the farmer and wriggled about. The bed started to rock, and the farmer woke up and he called,
How goes the work?
and moo, bah, clack, 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 clack. They lifted his bed, and he started to shout, and they banged and they bounced the old farmer about and about and about, right out of bed. And he fled with the cow and the sheep and the hens mooing and baaing and clucking after him. Down the lane, moo! Through the fields, baa! Over the hill, cluck, 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 cluck. And he never came back. The duck awoke, and he waddled wearily into the yard, expecting to hear,
How goes the work?
but nobody spoke. Then the cow and the sheep and the hens came back.
Quack?
Asked the duck. Moo, said the cow. Baa, said the sheep. Cluck, said the hens, which told the duck the whole story. Then, mooing and baaing and clucking and quacking, they all set to work on their farm.
Oh, boy, what a bum. The farmer stayed in bed eating candies while the duck did all the work. Not fair.
Well, but the duck's friends did come in. They stepped in, gave a hand, and they helped chase the farmer away.
Yeah, but some help. The farmer ran away, but the duck and the other animals still had to do the work. How goes the work?
Well, somebody has to do the work on a farm. I lived on a farm when I was a little girl, and there's always lots of work.
Well, at least the other animals gave the duck a hand with all the work.
Do you think that animals can really talk to each other?
Well, that's a good question.
And what would a German shepherd dog speak? German or just plain dog?
Well, I have an English sheepdog, and I talk to her in English.
And does she understand you?
I hope so, because if not, I've been talking to myself for years.
Hey, where are you going? Come on over and read with us.
We can't. We're going to the library to return this book.
Well, at least come sit down with us for a minute.
Okay.
Maybe I can convince them to stay and read with us. Hi. Can you stay with us for a little bit?
Well, we have to go to the library to return this book.
Oh, what book do you have there?
Oh, it's a scary one. It's called I Hear a Noise. It's pretty good.
Oh, can you read it to us?
Well, I have to go to the library to return it.
Aw, come on. Pretty please. I never heard that story.
Okay. But it's kind of scary.
Oh, well, Lucy, if Raven reads this scary book, do you think you can handle it?
I think I can.
All right, then. But if it gets too scary for you, you just tell me, and I'll ask Raven to stop.
Thank you for your concern.
Okay, compadres, buckle your seatbelts, 'cause here we go with a scary one.
This story is I Hear a Noise, the Story and pictures are by Diane Good. Mother, I hear a noise. It's only the wind. Now go to sleep. Good night. It's just the branch against the window. Sleep tight. Mother! Business. Mother! What's going on here? You should all be ashamed. I want you to take them right back where you got them and don't ever touch them again. Good night. Sleep tight.
Wow, that was great. Well, what did you think? Were you scared?
No.
No? Well, I don't think the story was that scary.
Are you kidding? Well, what about the part when the dragon takes the kid and the mom away, huh?
Well, yeah, that's a little bit scary, but in the pictures, they don't look that scared.
Well, Lucy, who are those other dragons in the story? You know, the ones that teased the dragon that took the boy and his mom?
I don't know.
Oh, those teasing dragons remind me of this big kid who used to live down the street from my house, who was always teasing my friends. Oh, where do dragons live?
1700 Bellevue Lane, apartment 8.
You know, dragons make me think of dinosaurs. Are they the same thing?
Kino, dragons live only in your imagination. They exist only in stories. But dinosaurs really lived a long, long time ago before there were any people.
Oh, so maybe dragons live at 1700 Imagination Lane, apartment 8, huh?
Right. You know what I liked about that book? It has quite a lot of pictures.
Oh, you're right. The pictures tell the story.
Yeah, it is fun, but I have to go now. I want to go to the library before it closes.
Oh, well, hey, thanks for dropping by, Raven. That really was a cool book.
Yes, it was.
Maybe your friends would like to stay a bit longer. Would you like to stay?
Oh, say yes, say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll come back when I have more time, and I'll read more stories.
Oh, great.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Raven.
Bye-bye, Raven. Boy, that Raven, she sure knows how to pick good books, don't you think?
Here I come, I'm here to read a story. It's not too long, and it's not too short, and nobody thinks it's boring. Would anyone be interested in this book that I brought? Ah,
Oh, yeah, I would.
all right, then let's read it.
You know, I never understand how people arrive here with books just when we're ready for another story. That's weird, huh? But hey, I'm not complaining, because I just love stories.
See, I brought this book called The Fortune Tellers.
Oh, I love this.
I'm glad.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's a fortune teller?
Well, some people believe that a fortune teller, if he looks into a crystal ball, he can tell the future. See, like right here on this cover. And in this story, the fortune teller is the prophet.
Oh, what's a prophet?
Well, a prophet is someone who makes predictions about the future.
What's a prediction?
Well, making predictions is saying that something will happen. Tomorrow, for instance. And that something is something that nobody else knows about.
Do you mind if I ask so many questions?
No, because I believe that it will help you understand the story better. See, some stories are a little harder to understand than others.
Is this one hard to understand?
Well, why don't you ask me that after I read it?
Okie dokie, artichokey.
All right, now, The Fortune Tellers by Lloyd Alexander, illustrated by Trina Sharp Hyman. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, here we go. A young carpenter was unhappy in his trade. Will I be hammering and sawing the rest of my days? He asked himself. Without wife or sweetheart, and nothing but long labor for little pay, he kept wondering if the future held anything better. Hearing that a fortune teller had come to the neighboring town, he set off eagerly to learn the answers to his questions. And he found the prophet living in a room above a cloth merchant's shop. My first prediction is this, the fortune teller said before the carpenter could begin. You're going to pay me a nice fee, but that's a mere trifle to someone destined for wealth. Do you see me rich, then? Exclaimed the carpenter, gladly handing over the coins the fortune teller demanded. Oh, rich you will surely be, answered the fortune teller, setting his magic cap on his head and gazing into the crystal ball on the table. On one condition, that you earn large sums of money. Marvelous, cried the carpenter. Things look brighter already. And with so much wealth, will I be famous too? No question about it, said the fortune teller. Once you become well known. Amazing, said the carpenter. But now tell me, will I marry and be happy ever after? You shall wed your true love, said the fortune teller. If you find her and she agrees, and you shall be happy as any in the world if you can avoid being miserable. Oh, better and better, said the carpenter. And shall we have a long life together? The longest, replied the fortune teller, again peering into the crystal ball. One thing, only one thing might cut it short, an early demise. Oh, wonderful, said the carpenter. Thank you, Master Seer, thank you. And with that, he left the fortune teller and he hurried homeward, impatient for all those good things to happen. Now, he had scarcely gone halfway when he thought of a dozen more questions he was burning to ask. So he turned around and he ran back as fast as he could. To his surprise and disappointment, he found the room empty. The fortune teller's cap and crystal ball were on the table. Now, puzzling over what had become of their owner, the carpenter ventured to pick up the objects, eyeing them with fear and fascination. And as he did, the door flew open and in stormed the cloth merchant's wife. She stopped in her tracks and her eyes popped in astonishment. A miracle, she burst out. Only this morning you were a scruffy old codger. You've changed yourself into a handsome young man. What powers you have, she went on. To think I took you for a fraud and was coming to throw you out of the house. Oh, honored guest, stay as long as you like, and I'll never ask a penny's rent if you'll tell our fortunes. Well, the carpenter, he tried to explain, but the cloth merchant's wife would hear none of it. And she called in her husband and daughter. And they all insisted so firmly that the carpenter at last had to put on the cap, and he sat down at the table and he peered into the crystal ball. Tell me straight off, said the cloth merchant's wife. Are we to be rich with fine clothes, horses, and herds of cattle? Though he stared and he squinted, the bewildered carpenter saw nothing whatever. And at a loss for what else to do, he recalled what the fortune teller had told him. Oh, yes, enormously rich, said the carpenter. As soon as you gain a lot of money, you'll have all those good things once you can afford to buy them. Well, shall we live long and happy? Said the cloth merchant. Oh, indeed, replied the carpenter. You need only stay healthy and keep breathing. And I, asked the cloth merchant's daughter, shall I find my true love? Ah, as for that, said the carpenter, blushing a little, I can assure you it will happen. In fact, it's happened already. Hearing of this marvelous prophet, the neighbors came clamoring to know their futures, pressing coins into the hands of the carpenter, who told the same to each in turn. If that's all there is to it, he said to himself, I like it better than carpentry. So instead of going back to his hammer and saw, he set up as a fortune teller. His fame spread quickly, and he grew richer than he'd ever dreamed. And he married the cloth merchant's daughter and lived long years of happiness. As to the real fortune teller, while he had been leaning over the balcony, wondering if tomorrow would be hotter than yesterday, he lost his balance, tumbled down into a passing cart, and jolted the driver off the seat. The frightened ox bolted and went lunging through town into the savannah, where the fortune teller was thrown clear, only to be chased by a lion. And as he climbed a tree to escape, he broke open a hornet's nest. And, fighting off the angry swarm, was snatched from the branch by a giant eagle who carried him aloft and dropped him into a river where he was swept downstream and never seen or heard of again. Now, despite his wealth and fame, the carpenter never forgot his benefactor. Although in time he gave up wondering what had happened to the fortune teller, the carpenter thought of him frequently with warmth and gratitude for having seen the future so clearly.
Jamie, I don't think I understood all of it.
Well, you understood a little of it, right?
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Well, and if we read it again, I think you'll understand a little bit more of it. See, that's what's so great about harder stories. The more you read them, the easier it is to understand them.
Well, one thing I did get is that the crystal ball wasn't really magic.
That's true. Well, how did you like the pictures in this story?
I liked them a lot. I only like one picture.
Which one was that?
It was...
Someplace in here?
No.
Toward the end?
I only like...
Huh? That one?
No.
That's the cover picture.
This?
Oh, I know the one I bet you like, where he was falling out of off the balcony.
No.
No?
I like this picture.
Oh, that picture. Oh, I see. That's the one where they've got some cattle here, and they have a horse, and somebody's leading them in, and...
Because the horse is like...
Yeah, well, that is nice.
I like all the pictures.
Me too.
I only like the purple. I like two pictures. This picture and the other picture.
Yeah, well, he married a very pretty woman, didn't he?
Oh, Lucy? Lucy,
Yes, Kino.
well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, here's my question. Do you know why the lion spit out the clown?
Because the lion wasn't hungry?
No, because the clown tasted funny.
Good one, Kino. Well, now we'd better do our story picks before we go.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to recommend one of my favorite scary stories, only it's not too scary and it's also funny. It's called Come for a Ride on the Ghost Train. It's really cool, and I like it.
And I'd like to recommend another story about ducks. This one, Make Way for Ducklings, has been around for many years, but it's still one of my favorites.
I am looking for the future. Say, do I really need a crystal ball, or can I just use any old ball?
I don't know. Can you see anything?
Yep. I can see us reading stories in our next story time.
Are they good ones?
Only the best for my little banana slugs out there.
Good. Thank you, Jamie,
You're certainly
Lily,
welcome.
and Caitlin for coming to visit us. And until the next story time,
Keep a story in your heart. Hasta luego, borrego.
What's a borrego?
Oh, it's a little lamb.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know it either, but my grandpa told me. You know what else he told me, James?
What?
Well, that lambs have babies in the spring.
oh, I knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Today's Storytime books are Farmer Duck by Martin Waddell, illustrated by Helen Oxenbury. I Hear a Noise by Diane Good. The Fortune Tellers by Lloyd Alexander, illustrated by Trina Shart Hyman. Come for a Ride on the Ghost Train by Colin and Jackie Hawkins. And Make Way for Ducklings by Robert McCloskey. You can find these and other books at your local library.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television. Storytime is a production of KCET Los Angeles